everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. The Seahawks won this last weekend. It was a very critical game. Man, what a rough game that was. Feel bad for Ricardo Lockett, but evidently the surgery has turned out okay, and there you go. They're 4-4 now. They're going to miss Ricardo. But I have a feeling the Seahawks are on the surge upwards. Looking forward to that. Kind of surprised that Broncos got Vernon Davis. Wow. Peyton Manning's going to love that. Okay, enough football. I know not all of you guys are football fans. But, I'm excited about the Seahawks. Always am excited about the Seahawks. And looking forward to how the season turns out. We're doing Zinfandel today. Zinfandel is probably one of my favorite varietals, and I've said this in the past. The reason I know that is because you look at my wine racks all over the place out in the cellar. There's no Zinfandel because whenever I'm craving a little decadence in my wine, I always reach for a Zin. So I don't have any around, which is amazing. Well, I have 3 here right now, of course, and we're going to review these wines. Having a tasting tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to it. It's my annual holiday tasting event. Looking forward to a big crowd of people. We're going to offer up wines for all occasions in Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. I know a lot of you don't like to think that far ahead, but they come fast. They come fast. As you well know, I'm already thinking about decorating the house. It's crazy how fast things happen. So anyway, I'd like to just take a moment and thank Stuart Barker. I did an interview with him. It's been a few days since I put an episode out. My wife was sick, so I didn't want to really shoot an episode at the house. Let's get started right off. We have a Zin from Sonoma, we have a Zin from Napa, and we have a Zinfandel from, I believe this is Lodi. Lodi, Amador County, kind of the home of Zin. A lot of big bombastic Zins come from those areas. Zinfandel is considered the American grape because I don't think there's any other country that does Zinfandel besides the United States, other than Italy does Primitivo, and Primitivo and Zinfandel, same, they're kissing cousins. They're the same grape, just in different areas. Could be that the Italian immigrants brought Zinfandel over from Italy. There's not exact clearness on that whole thing, but they are very closely related, if not the same grape. They taste different, obviously. Terroir has a lot to do with that. Where they're grown, the style of winemaking all makes them different. We're going to get started right off. A couple of these Zins, actually we did Clinkerbrick, I think, last in the Super Bowl episode, Best Wines with Food. This is a new vintage of the Clinkerbrick. This is 2013. This is a 2012 St. Francis Old Vines Zinfandel, Sonoma County. And Sonoma does a lot of Zinfandel, and I'm impressed with some of the ones I've tasted. In fact, when I did a few blind tasting class with the Court of Sommeliers, they did a Sonoma Zinfandel. I thought it tasted a lot like a Grenache myself. So Sonoma is also known for Zin. Napa, not so much. A lot of people don't think that Napa can do Zin as well as the other areas of the United States. Of course, Lodi and Amador County, big time Zin producers there. A lot of people will ask specifically for Lodi Zin. Let's see what we get on the nose. A lot of raspberry, like a ton of raspberries. It's like I stuck my nose in a cup of raspberries. A lot of raspberries and a little touch of currant and maybe a bit of licorice coming through. I can smell the heat on the nose. Always, a lot of people, I myself included, like to have Zinfandel during Thanksgiving meal because of the big juiciness of the Zin. Sometimes you have to be careful though because they can be high octane, and you don't want to go to sleep on your family members because you had too much Zinfandel. This is 15% alcohol, very typical of Zinfandel. Get a little bit of oatmeal cookie thing coming through too, which I find very curious. Now, you know, I'm not opposed to high alcohol wines. I don't seek them out. I don't really care as long as the wine's balanced. It doesn't matter. I don't look at the label and go, oh my God, it is 15, 16%. I'm not going to drink it. I'm not going to like it. I just go by the overall wine itself. How is it integrated? All that. You know, that's what really matters to me, is that point. Is it well integrated? I mean, if it's high octane, do you taste it? I can smell it. It burns my nose a little bit. Let's see what we get on the palate. This is classic Zin. This is what I like about Zin. It is jammy. It is jammy. You get these like black raspberry, currant, big, bold flavors, and a lot of white pepper. All the things I love about a Zin. It's a little high octane. I do get the alcohol in there, but you know, it's pretty good. Did I say 22 bucks? I hope I did. And did I zoom in? See, a couple days off and I get excited about doing my episode and I forget to do the fundamental things like zooming in on the wine. There you go, St. Francis. By the way, if you're watching this tonight, this is one of the Zins we'll be tasting tomorrow, the holiday tasting. Excited about that. All right, so jammy, definitely what I'd call jammy. Now this has an interesting black olive component coming through on the mid palate, kind of rounding it out, giving it a darker, almost an earthy flavor, which I find very intriguing. A lot of Zinfandel makers like to use oak on their wines. This might have a little bit of oak, but it's not prominent. I believe some Zinfandel producers overuse oak, for sure. A lot of currants on this one, a lot of currants. More currants on the palate than on the nose, where I got more of the raspberry flavors. There's definitely black raspberry on this. A little bit of a grip on the finish. I think the alcohol is a little prominent in this, but it really ramps up the fruit, that's for sure. I think this is one of those wines that you're either going to like or you're not going to like. I don't know if there's an in-between on this. I like it. I think it's a little bit hot. I'm going to go B-, only because of the heat. I think it's a well-made Zin. I think it's exactly what a lot of Zin lovers are looking for. And trust me, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, when you drink bourbon, are you worried about whether it has a burn or not? No. And some Zinfandel lovers, like myself, like a little bit of that heat on their Zinfandel. Now, that being said, this would be a great turkey Zin because of that juiciness, that ramped up fruit. Just be careful. Might put you to sleep before you want to go to sleep. Let's move on. So that's B-. Napa Cellars, Napa Valley Zinfandel 2012. This rolls in at $21. And you know, there's a lot of Napa Valley Zin out there. Now, I think they make great Zinfandel. I mean, Turley Vineyards does a lot of Napa Valley Zinfandels. They do a lot from Howell Mountain. And I've had this one in the past and I've liked it. Big bottle, 21 bucks. And I think my next episode will include a Zinfandel, a much less expensive Zinfandel. I'm going to do a Smoking Loon episode. I tried one of their red blends and I was very impressed with it. So I'll do the red blend, a couple other things from them, see how the rest of them rate. But really surprised, 10.5 bucks. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked here. Napa Cellars, Zinfandel. Let's see what we get on the nose. This is more like vanilla mocha nose. Totally different. Totally different than the St. Francis from Sonoma. Yeah, I'm getting chocolate tones big time. Like currants, chocolate, vanilla mocha. I can actually smell the brightness underneath, and you know, since Zinfandels do have acid to them, contrary to what people might believe, Zinfandel has acid and tannins. No, contrary to what a lot of people think, yeah, they're jammy, but they do have acid. A little bit of tobacco too. Very intrigued by this nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Entirely different animal. A little more balance than the other one. Not over the top alcohol. I always have to look at these. Crack me up. Some of them, they get really, really cranked up. 14.9, so not much less. More in the chocolate area. I mean, this is like I just bit into a really rich piece of chocolate cake. Really, really heavy on the chocolate, right always front to back, with a currant and cherry element coming through. I like this Zin. I like the other one. I like this one better. Again, a little bit of burn on the backside, a little bit of white pepper, not a lot. This is more chocolate, cherry, currant driven, big time. Little hits of tobacco underneath. But this is a balanced, smooth. This is smooth Zinfandel. And again, I would have this at turkey time, big time. I like this wine. I think it's very good. I'm going to go A- on that one. Nice Zin. Okay. I've done this in the past. I've always liked Clinker Brick. This is a 2013 Clinker Brick Winery Old Vine Zin Lodi. And this rolls in at 20 bucks. And I think you can find it for around 17. Did I show the Napa Cellars? This is a really dark label. Pretty cool though, Clinker Brick. You see that? All right. Just so you know, this is the Napa Cellars. I'm not sure if I zoomed in. There's the Napa Cellars. I gave that an A-. Like that Zin a lot. All right. By the way, Zinfandel is one of those ones where you can really sometimes see where the wine snobs love it. A lot of wine snobs do not like Zin. I don't know why. They just think that it lowers their standards when it comes to wine. It's either Cab, Bordeaux, Pinot Noir. Those are like the top wines for. And I don't want to stereotype, but those are really Burgundy, you know, those types of things. But when it comes to Zin, they're like, they stick their nose up at it, and I'm not sure why. It's a great bottle of wine. Let's see what we get on the nose. Clinker Brick, 20 bucks. May be able to get it for 17. Now this one is, I mean, talk about three different noses. This has got a lot of tar on the nose, which I find very intriguing. It's like currants and tar, big time. A little bit of chocolate coming through. I can smell wood on it, which is really quite interesting. This one's going to be impossible to find the alcohol level. It's probably right in front of me. For some reason, I'm just not seeing it. Why they hide it, I'll never know. This, we were talking about that. It's so irritating. When I was talking with another wine guy about that, it's so irritating that they make it so hard to see the wine, the alcohol level. I mean, why are you hiding it? It doesn't matter. It's there somewhere. It has to be. That's crazy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this is like tarry currants. We get a little vanilla and a very interesting little green element underneath. almost like green tobacco, maybe a little mint element coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very similar in flavor profile to the Napa Cellars. Get a little bit of burn on the back end, a little bit of white pepper, a lot of currants. This is a little more sweeter wine. It's definitely got ripe fruit on it, ripe dark cherries, ripe currants. It almost has like a sweet chocolate with a little bit of brown sugar element coming through. Again, once again, putting it in the category of what people are looking for in a Zin. I think a lot of people will like this Zinfandel for that juicy kind of fruit-forward combination. I'm a little turned off by the brown sugar element that comes through. I never like it. I mean, it really is not an element that I look for in a good Zin. I don't mind ripe fruit. I just don't like it when it goes to the brown sugar side. It's almost like somebody whipped up some black currants and poured a little brown sugar on it, kind of like you would your oatmeal. You can taste that brown sugar element big time. Yeah, I'm just going to pour a quick St. Francis. We do this a lot of times when we're tasting wine, just trying to see where's my palate compared to. I knew this actually from Lodi. I knew it would be the most fruit forward one of the bunch. That's why I put it at the back end. So I wasn't wrong there. Yeah, I'm going to go C+ on the clinker brick. I think the St. Francis, I went B- on that St. Francis. I think it's better balance. Doesn't taste nearly as hot following the clinker brick. I'm going to go C+ on the clinker brick. If you can find it for 17 bucks and you want a really fruit forward, sweeter style Zinfandel, I think you can go there. I think a lot of you might like that. It too could go with Thanksgiving. That nice brown sugar element is not a bad thing with that savory food. So keep that in mind. Certainly for 20 bucks, I might back away from it, but it's a crowd pleaser for sure. C+, B-, A- on the Napa Cellars Zinfandel. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.